I think so many people think of when they think of cancer, it's their bodies being attacked, and the only thing that they have to do is just sit there and receive treatment. And I think a lot of it, or the majority of it, is a two-way battle. I mean, it's gonna take from you, but you've gotta take from it too. I was living a life as a normal 20-something-year-old, going to work and going to happy hour and out to eat and, doing what everybody does in their 20s. And then I was going to doctor's appointments more than my grandparents were. I mean, it was just really insane. I was recently engaged. I was going to work every day, planning a wedding, purchased my first home, our first home, and moving. After a couple of weeks of, being so worn and torn down from just barely doing anything, I was like, I've got to go to the doctors, just something's not right.
So Sophie was diagnosed in February of 2013. She, and unfortunately after a bridal shower, was found to have increasing symptoms of itching throughout the body, and something in the neck was getting larger. So she went to see a doctor, had a biopsy done, but soon after the biopsy she collapsed and she had to be intubated on an emergency basis and was quickly moved to the ICU.
I woke up and met Dr. Iyer. Yeah, I didn't know about Dr. Iyer. I had heard about him, that he was this miracle man. And
Sophie's disease was a stage 2 bulky Hodgkin's lymphoma. And every time you hear the word Hodgkin's lymphoma, you're, as an hematologist oncologist, you have to jump on top of this to get this cured, because it's one of those few diseases that you can confidently say you can cure it. So when somebody has bulky disease, it has been shown that the bulky disease, even after you give chemotherapy, the disease has a tendency to come back in the same area. So what we have been doing in the last many years with clinical research for bulky disease Hodgkin's lymphoma patient is to, after the completion of chemotherapy, is to offer radiation in those areas.
I went through the majority of chemotherapy not ever discussing or thinking about radiation. So when the time got closer, Dr. Iyer and I and our team sat down and kind of discussed everything and figured out, what the next step was, and that's how we got to meet Dr. Desai. And then we all sat down together and figured out a plan of action and determined. They looked at all the statistics and my chart and my history and my future and kind of determined the number 17. And that's kind of how we went forward with 17 treatments for radiation.
So Sophie was diagnosed with her lymphoma, and we actually discussed her case in multidisciplinary tumor board, where we have the hematology oncology doctors, the pathologists, the radiologists, pathologists, as well as the radiation oncologist, discuss a variety of cases. So we come with a multidisciplinary team approach to kind of figuring out the best treatment for each patient. So image-guided radiation therapy, we're able to visualize the location of the tumor as well as the heart prior to treatment. In Sophie's case, she had a very large tumor in her chest about the size of a football, which responded great to chemotherapy, but it was still very close to the heart. So with her young age, we want to be able to not just cure her from her cancer, but prevent the long-term side effects.
I mean, there were so many days where I could have just literally sat on the couch and let cancer really just take over everything, my lifestyle from A to Z. But, I had to eat, I had to drink water, I had to get up and move around, I had to go outside and get fresh air, and those little things add up to the big thing. And, the reward is being cancer-free. So I really am a frequent flyer through here. I have lived at Methodist probably for the last 9 months off and on. They really, for me, by the time I woke up, my family had already had such a big foundation and strong, stable foundation with all the staff here that it was kind of felt like home, like family. I could tell you probably all their birthdays and their kids' names and their husbands' and wives' names. I mean, we've really grown here. I can't imagine being anywhere, going anywhere else. They saved my life here, and I'm gonna start crying. And so, yeah.